excellent to each other, and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing what I like to call full tempo blue-black. We're playing Nethergoyf, which we're going to try to get stacked as quickly as possible. We're playing Tamiyo, which we're going to try to flip in ultimate as quickly as possible. And to help us do that, we're playing a whole lot more spells. So we are playing a few other creatures. We're playing 4 Psychic Frogs and 2 Brazen Borrowers. But if you're counting, that's only 14 total creatures. That's like 2 or 3 creatures fewer than I normally play. So what did we put in that space? Well, we're playing the full 4 Dazes, which normally I only play 3. We're playing the full 4 Wasteland, which normally I only play 3. And if you look, our land count is very low. This is basically Delver. This is Delver, except instead of red, we're playing black. So to facilitate us getting Nethergoyf up to a 5/6 as quickly as possible, we're playing 6 sorceries. We're playing 6 artifacts. That's right. We're playing 4 baubles and 2 Nile Spellbombs. Nile Spellbomb is so good right now that you just can't leave home without it, in my opinion. So in terms of the mana base, it's very simple. We got our basic swamp. We've got our basic island. We've got 8 fetches. We've got 4 underground seas. We got 4 wastelands. That's it. Super duper simple. This deck is the simplest deck I think I've played on the channel, and it will probably be the most linear that you'll see me play because it's just basically trying to disrupt people long enough to be able to ultimate here or to kill them with Nethergoyf or to get frog supremacy and win that way. The sideboard. Also very simple. Grafdigger's Cage. Amazing card right now. Powder Keg. Also pretty damn good. Can blow up chalices, can blow up moxes, can blow up a lot of constructs, things like that. Can blow up artifact lands. Long Goodbye. Very good anti Psychic Frog, anti Tamiyo tech. We're playing a Toxic Deluge in case we need to wipe the board. We're playing 4 Orcish Bowmasters, and this is because if I go up against some grindy blue-white deck like I played the other day on this channel, I played as the blue-white control deck. You really want Orcish Bowmasters because your other threats are kind of weak and you need a higher threat density. And this turns out to be insane against the, Brain Surge decks, against the Up the Beanstalk decks. We're also playing a couple Harbingers and 3 Consigned to Memory to stop the Eldrazi Menace. Probably the current top deck. It's probably a toss-up between Blue-Black Reanimator and Eldrazi, but we want to be equipped to fight both. And I've also got a Force Negation and a Hydroblast. They're just good general all-around cards. The Grafdigger's Cage, as I said, is amazing because it's not only good against graveyard matchups, it's also really good against Nadu because their Green Sun Zenithing, their Court of Calling, and your Grafdigger's Cage stops all that nonsense. So as always, we're going to play a full 5 games, 5 matches, and I encourage you to comment, leaving timestamps with your comments so I can review them. And if I make any mistakes, just let me know. I would love to learn from you. And if you have questions about any of my plays and you're not sure why I did something I did, well, first of all, I have diarrhea of the mouth and I'm going to explain my literal every thought as I go through these matches. But if for some reason I omit something, just ask. I'll be happy to answer. The other thing is I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers. I think I might be able to reach that in the next month or 2. And if I hit that, then I get to enter into the MTGO creators program, and then I can play any card. And I think I can play as much as I want? I'm not sure how it works, but basically I'll be able to record a lot more videos and I'll be able to do a lot broader variety of videos because I won't be constrained by the fact that, for example, I don't have the One Ring, or I don't have Barrowgoyf, or I don't have some other cards that, in paper are very attainable and usually hold their value, but are difficult to obtain in MTGO or cost a ton of tickets. So again, if you want to subscribe, please, by all means. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy the video, and I'll see you in round 1. All right, we're back from round 1 against Hell Monkey. I am not sure what they are likely to play, but I am sure that I don't want to keep a no-lander. This is pretty terrible as well. Our deck doesn't want to see a bunch of lands. It wants to see spells. However, this Bauble, not the worst. The Wasteland, potentially not the worst. I think what we do is we probably just put back the underground. We could put back the island, I guess. We could fetch that out. Actually, I'm gonna just in case they're on like some sort of moon deck, I'm gonna put that back. All right, let's see what their top card is. I am going to go ahead and crack this now. In some situations, you want to wait, like if you've got a Tamiyo in hand, but I'm just going to go ahead and... Okay, so it looks like they're on some sort of black deck. This is Takenuma, which means, in Japanese, it means swamp of bamboo. So you can basically return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to hand. Pretty good. It was, yep, it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just play this land out, and then we have the ability to either fetch a swamp or we can fetch a surveil land. All right, we get our card. So I think they're probably on a mono black strategy. They had played mono black scam in the past. Dark Ritual, scary. Dalthy. Well, I'm going to go ahead and crack this now and surveil, just so I don't have to surveil anything into the void. Oh, I don't have a surveil land in my deck because I am playing pure tempo, and pure tempo doesn't play surveil because we don't want cards coming in tapped. Okay, so yeah. Silly me. Okay, now they're going to take my Psychic Frog. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm almost certain they're going to take Psychic Frog here. And I am on a serious clock. I am kind of... No, I'm going to cast the... Oh, they took my Thoughtseize? They must have a Fatal Push. I need to draw a Daze stat. Also, this Wasteland is like super duper useless. Well, that is a good card. Yeah, I think the fact that they didn't take the frog basically tells me they... maybe they have some combo in hand. Anyway, I'm going to play this out. Like, it's just going to take too long for me to get out from under the vice of them having... a potential card here. If they push it, it's fine. I will eventually push their Dalthy. Unless they him me here, that would be catastrophic. Okay, Fatal Push. Again, not surprising. It would be nice to have that in my graveyard. I guess that's one reason for waiting. Yeah, when your opponent tells you they have a Fatal Push, believe them. Okay, so let's take a look here. We got another Fatal Push. All right, well... I don't know that we even want this Wasteland. I'm just going to wait till their turn, and then I'll push, just in case they play something out before attacking for some reason. Yeah, but this is already off to a really bad start. Like, getting Thoughtseize and mulling to a really weak 6 sucks. Okay, the good news is once this is tapped, we don't have to worry about them tapping to use the ability, so I can just push. And I believe the Fatal Push does go to our graveyard here, so... we at least have an instant and a artifact and a, yeah. Okay, and they didn't have any plays, which is good. Okay, Brazen Borrower is not a great draw. I can just flash it in step. Unless they, like that'll give me maximum information. I am a tempo deck, and I am going to flash it in if they don't do anything here. They could be holding up Opposition Agent. There's that Takenuma they drew. Reanimate. So I'm going to go ahead and just crack this now. So at least I get the card in the graveyard. It's a very minor thing. Oh, there's the Opposition Agent. Yeah, that's fine. And now I'll just push it. I'd rather push that than the Dalthy here. Okay, and now I get my Underground Sea, and it's all you, baby. I think in step I am going to bounce this just for tempo. I don't think there's any reason not to. I don't think at this point we're likely to face a, I'll eat my words if they do have a, whatever it's called. Is it worth cutting them off a land? It might be. I'm going to do it. I don't think this is getting any better. I'll play this out. And yeah, it's definitely possible that they just kill it. I think playing it out is a better play than just playing out my Brazen Borrower here. There's the Bowmaster, so I'm glad I didn't play out my Brazen Borrower. So I'm going to need yet another removal spell. But actually, if I just don't draw cards, it's not a big deal. I can... I say as I draw the card that draws cards. Yeah, I think I just chill. I think it's still worth taking because, yeah, I'm just going to attack in. Like holding her back to prevent 1 damage doesn't seem the right call here. And then I've got an end step Brazen Bee. And if I can get rid of this, then I'll have clues and I'll have a Tamiyo. Now, it's certainly possible they could have a second one, which would be one reason never to block. Never to block the army. I could block the orc. They should play this out. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Okay, I would be worried if they didn't play that out. All right, now I'm going to play out my flyer, and they are still winning the race, but we're just a decent rip from having something good going on here. I'm just going to attack. I'll just attack with the Brazen Borrower. I'd rather like hold this back and at least have some semblance of a race by blocking 1 damage every turn than creating clues that I'm probably never going to crack. Nethergoyf flips this on its head. So they should attack all here. Okay, I'm going to block. And there might have been something where I flip Tamiyo, just eat a whole lot of damage. Barrowgoyf. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Okay. It's a good card. There's a saying that, non-blue creature decks usually beat blue creature decks. And that is holding true here. Okay, they are. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to use the mana. Okay, let's go to my phase. I got another land. I think I'm just going to concede. They're going to run me over. And I'm not down. It's pretty late at night. Like, I worked all day long, and I wanted to get a league up down for the video tomorrow. And so I am not going to fight for every single like percentage. If I was like 1% for winning that, I don't want to keep fighting just for that 1%, and I won't subject you to that either. Cards that are coming in, Bowmasters is like a very easy decision in my mind. It hits their Bowmasters. We definitely could consider bringing in Grafdigger's Cage, but I don't think it's the right call here. I think a long goodbye is great. Wasteland is terrible against their deck. I mean, I don't know that we should take them all out because that really reduces our mana count, but like our deck basically doesn't use colorless mana at all. I guess we leave one in, maybe. Daze is pretty bad. For Toxic Deluge could potentially be good. Other than that, if we're taking out some Wastelands, we could... No, we're not taking out Daze on the play. Yeah, maybe I'd take some of these out. Maybe I'd take them all out. I mean, this is really to stop like combo. I kind of like keeping this in because we're so light on creatures. This could totally be like a good removal spell. But how do I feel about going out of 16 lands? I think that's too thin. So maybe I don't do that. Yeah, I'll do this. I don't like keeping the baubles in against an Orcish Bowmaster deck. I think that's actually the card that we cut rather than the Wasteland. Yeah, let's do that. And then I guess I do bring in a Toxic Deluge. I'll do it like that. Okay. We definitely could have not taken all 4 forces out. That was another option. But it's just really bad, like going down 2 cards against their discard deck. This hand is terrible. I don't think we keep this. Okay. I'm going to keep it. And here's my reasoning. These Dazes these Wastelands will probably never get played out. I'll probably hold them. But I do have a turn 1 Tamiyo, and I can protect her. And then I have a turn 2 Psychic Frog if they don't, kill my Tamiyo. All right. So I'll just go ahead and get an island here. I am going to play on my basics. All right. Tamiyo comes down, and we pass. And that's what this deck wants to do. It wants to resolve a 1-drop. Maybe we get lucky they play a non-basic. I will Daze to protect her. I will also Daze to stop a Thoughtseize because I want to protect my frog here. It definitely doesn't feel good. I think I do want to go ahead and fetch the swamp here before they can Dark Ritual. I know that's a very passive play because it ruins my ability to shuffle away the Wastelands should I draw a Brainstorm, but I'm really worried about just getting like screwed out of the game because I don't have a removal spell. All right, so we got our colors underneath us. I don't believe they have anything they can do to interact with that. They know that we don't have a second Daze. Him would be scary. Nothing I can do about that other than deploy another one. might make sense to deploy a second one just to clear the way for Frog, but Frog is definitely higher impact. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Thoughtseize them, and then I'll deploy a Tamiyo if the coast is clear. Caustic Bronco is a really cool card. Whenever Caustic Bronco attacks, reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. You lose life equal to the card's mana value if Caustic Bronco isn't saddled. Otherwise, each opponent. So this is a pretty damn good card. Barrelgoyf is also good, but I'm more worried about Caustic Bronco just because it's a card advantage engine. I don't have any removal. Yeah, and we don't have a fast clock, so I'm just going to take that. You could definitely argue I should have taken the Barrelgoyf since it is going to come down next turn. Let's take a look at their hand again. Yeah. This is basically a dead draw with the sheer volume of land they have in their hand. Barrelgoyf. Yeah, maybe I should have taken Barrelgoyf. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to know. Now Spellbomb is pretty good. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to let Barrelgoyf connect. Wait. It's a 4/5, but it does Death Touch. All right, so here's what I think. I'm going to go ahead and attack. I can create the now Spellbomb. So just looking at my graveyard alone, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 types. So we're not going to shrink this Barrelgoyf by hitting either of our graveyards, unfortunately. I think I do. Do I want to play out Spellbomb? I could play it out next turn, and then I could have 2 cards to pitch. I could pitch both these Wastelands to Frog. I think it's probably better than playing out Spellbomb, but I'll be really embarrassed if they draw like a Thoughtseize. See, can we currently race? So we are going to flip Tamiyo, which will shrink the Barrelgoyf. The Barrelgoyf will have to take a turn to attack, and Barrelgoyf does not trigger when you attack a Planeswalker. So Tamiyo can basically fog Barrelgoyf for a turn and prevent its ability. I think I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. I just feel really embarrassed if they got this, because this, at the very least, like, it stops them from immediately being able to reanimate. I'm just thinking in terms of cards in hand that I can pitch to Psychic Frog. All right, so we are taking this. Let's see what they get. What's the damage? Okay. I'm sure they're going to mill something. They've got a ton of creatures. Was that a Douthie that they milled? Yeah, that's a good card. Okay, they've got tons of mana. Douthie. It's worth noting that you can't interrupt with now Spellbomb. Okay, they do have a Caustic Bronco as well. Yeah, this is not going well for us. They have lots of blockers. Yeah, I am going to attack with everything and attempt to flip. Holy cow. Does this change everything? This kind of changes everything. Well, so the problem is we kill Barrelgoyf, and they can long goodbye us right back. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to attack all. If they block with Caustic Bronco, I'll be overjoyed. I'll happily pitch this Wasteland to beat the Caustic Bronco in combat. Okay, here's the question. So we can't long goodbye and crack. I think we just draw. And my reasoning here is now I can Wasteland and I can long goodbye. And what I'll do is I'll long goodbye in combat. I've got so much life. I have to kill this though. Yeah, I think I want to draw a card, and then I can draw another card, and it's kind of a bad situation with this Douthie. If I hit Douthie and this lives, it's like really catastrophic. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Okay, so I draw a card. Brainstorm is great. Do we want to put Brainstorm into the void? If we found a pit, if it'll push. Okay, so if we kill this, they're still going to have to sack their Douthie to be able to kill our Psychic Frog. I don't think that's terrible. We could wait a turn. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and flip her. Wow, that's a great rip. Okay, so options. We can wait till combat, and then we can long goodbye this, and then the following turn we can push the Douthie so they can't long goodbye us back. And we'll get to see how they attack here. I'm almost certain this is going to attack us. But like, I don't think it's worth hitting fatal pushing this. Like, we want to kill both of these. These are the more pressing matters. Wait a second. They could saddle. Happening number. Okay. It doesn't look like they're saddling. Okay. So this trigger happens. So because it's not saddled, it is going to deal them damage, which is not too big of a deal for them, I'm sure. Let's see what they flip. Wasteland. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and wait, let's see what they're attacking. All right. Okay, good. So we can save our Tamiyo and we can kill their Barragoyf. All right. So we're going to take 3. Not the worst. They have 4 cards in hand. Bowmasters would be pretty bad. I can fatal push, regrow fatal push. I don't have a second black source though. If I draw a black source, somehow I can do that. I drew a black source. Okay. Here's what I think we do. I'm going to start by attempting to fetch, and if they respond with the opposition agent, I'll just push that. Okay. Now I'm going to push this. Do I want to attack first? I'm going to go ahead and regrow now. I'm going to attack. And now if they do something scary, I can fatal push in response. Just draw 1 card. It's possible they have like Reanimator or something like that in hand. I'm just going to go ahead and kill this now. And I can go ahead and brainstorm now. I don't want to do that. I'm going to save it. I'm going to wait and see what they do. If they draw Bowmasters, it's catastrophic. But I can brainstorm with that on the stack, and I can crack a clue. Okay, in step. Let's see whether they have Bowmasters. I do not have anything to deal with this in my deck. I'm just going to brainstorm to get underneath it. These are terrible cards. We are going to have to redraw one of them. So I'll do like that. Okay, I think I might have lost because, okay, actually we're getting both. We're going to get both of those cards. Both of those terrible cards. Yeah, our Tamiyo's dead, unfortunately. Whatever we do, yeah, life is pain. Like, this is terrible. So, options. Okay, and they're, yeah. We don't want to attack into this. It's just going to do too much damage to us. We have to hold now. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what I'll do here is I have to draw my Underground Sea for upkeep, of course. I don't even play it out. I'm just going to pitch all my stuff to Psychic Frog as necessary. Let's think about this. Yeah, if I draw, it just grows the army. I just have to chill. Hope they don't draw something really devastating here. If they attack in, I will pitch cards. I don't regret anything I've done here. It just, I think it just didn't work out. Okay, now here comes the big guy, which is also very scary. And note that there was no point at which I could have, killed their creature. Okay, are they going to attack? They're not going to attack with either. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so yeah, what I was going to say is, like, because they had all basics, none of these Wastelands would have done anything anyway. It's not like I screwed up and let that through. Like, I didn't have a choice. Okay, let's see what we draw here. There's our 1 pain-free draw. Borrower is actually not terrible. They're tapped out. Okay, here's what I think I'm going to do. Do we have anything that can kill this? We don't. We actually don't have a single thing in our deck that can kill this. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think we are just dead because they can just keep recasting it. We can bounce it one time, but they have so much life that we're never going to be able to catch up. One option, of course, is to bounce Orcish Bowmasters. That unlocks me pondering into potentially a brainstorm. But like, I would have to have like runner, Nethergoyfs. I would need a lot of creatures to be able to successfully block this. If I find, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This is the play to win thing. I'm going to bounce the Bowmaster. Now I'm going to ponder, and I'm going to hope to find a Orcish Bowmaster of my own. I did not. I'm going to just shuffle. Bowmaster is the only thing that does it. Okay, now we've got a Bowmasters. I don't even think this does anything, but what I can do, let's see. I can trade my entire board for this. So let's see. They play the Bowmasters, I ping, and then I pitch what remains of my hand. Yeah, that's like literally the only option I have, I think. And it's not a good option. It's like desperation play. But I am hoping that, let's see. So this could go up to a 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. We double block. Yeah, so we can kill their Bowmaster and we can block their Troll at the small cost of losing every card in our hand and every card in play. Okay, it doesn't look like they're going to play the Bowmaster out first, which really sucks because it ruins my plan. And then we're just dead to the Bowmaster ping. So, yeah, there's nothing, like I can't bait to draw a card because then I won't be able to, so we just got taken apart there, which sucks. But, I mean, when you're playing the Wasteland deck against the 6 Swamp deck, and they also have Bowmasters and a lot of other stuff, that's how the cookie crumbles. We'll see you in round 2. All right, we're back for round 2 against an unknown opponent. We got lucky and won the die roll. Are we also going to win the matchup lottery? We'll see. Or are we up against Eldrazi? All right, so I think this is a keep. It doesn't have a second land. Actually, is this a keep? This might not be a keep. Here's my reasoning. We don't know what the Urza's Bauble represents. And I'm going to tell them I'm thinking. Just because maybe they think I'm on a combo deck now. Especially because I'm about to mulligan. So if we never find a second land, this is rough. And if they have a Wasteland, it's super rough. So I'm going to mulligan this. This is better. We can just put back one of the Brazen Borrowers. And I think we probably are priced into Island Pondering, as sad as that is. But that will buff the Nethergoyf for later. Yeah, I don't think we need both of the Brazen Borrowers. So I'll just go ahead and Island Ponder here, and I'll be looking for another land. And if I don't find a land, they're going to know that I'm mana screwed. With 18 lands in our deck, we are less likely to find a land than when we have the usual 19. But I'm basically doing blue-black Delver here. And the idea with this deck is that we don't play the Surveil land. All right, let's see what we get here. All right, we got there. I think this is quite good. So what I'm going to do is I'll just take the Underground Sea now. And just because, like, it's one less thing that can get Thoughtseize out of our hand. If they are on a combo deck, they might take, if we let it resolve, they might take our Underground Sea. Okay, it looks like they're probably on Eldrazi, which is bad news bears. Nethergoyf is going to be a potential 3-4. Oh, okay. So it's not, it's like a Nadu deck maybe? So they revealed Wooded Foothills. Oh, no, I don't know what this is. It could just be like a fair green deck. But, basic land. Okay. I think it's probably a Nadu deck. I'm just going to let this resolve. I know it's bad to let them have it, but I'm going to save my Dazes for something more consequential. Actually, I probably could have dazed that playing as a pure tempo player. You daze that, and then maybe they don't have another land. You can just untap, play a Nethergoyf. I mean, there are a lot of things I could have done there had I dazed. It wouldn't have necessarily been bad. But it's possible also that now they're lulled into complacency, they're going to attempt to resolve a Nadu next turn. So we do have double daze up, and I won't be shy about doing that double daze trick here because we know we don't have a land coming off the top. If they waste, we also have the option of Brainstorm and dazing it to daze the Underground Sea back. Not pretty. I don't think I would do that at this point. Okay, Wooded Foothills that they've already revealed. Green mana. Is this another mana dork? It's an Elvish Reclaimer. Well, I have to let this resolve. I mean, the other alternative is I just Brainstorm and maybe find a Force. We know we have at least one Brainstorm on top of our deck. I don't like that. I'm going to go for perfect Brainstorms here. Okay, another fetching. So this might be some sort of like, I don't know. It might be a depth deck. Okay, here. So we are gonna get some Brainstorm equity here. Nantuko Springheart. Most certainly not I'm not a fan of this card. I will bounce this to hand. Do you have a green sun? Do you have an Elvish Spirit Guide? Okay. Yeah, that would have been pretty bad. Okay, so we've dazed our 2-drop. I'm kind of liking where we are. I do think I will brainstorm this turn just to see if we can find a fetch and shuffle away the Daze. It is going to start expiring here. Let's go ahead and start with a brainstorm. Okay, Fatal Push is great. We definitely want to hit that Reclaimer. Daze number 3, I'm not actually sad to see. I think I'm going to put this on top because we're not casting it this turn. Now I'm going to play this. There's no benefit to me killing it before combat. In case they choose to block, I can save it. Okay, they're just taking it as we expected. Now I am going to go ahead and just push it. It's too dangerous to leave on the table. That card is like public enemy number 1. Like, at least that's how I feel. I think it's like the most powerful 1-drop in the format. Other than maybe Tamiyo. Tamiyo is definitely in contention there. Okay, they have so much mana. Here's hoping we can somehow get some Daze equity here. Green Sun, what is this? Okay. All right, they are passing. They must have like an endurance or something, is what that makes me think. Endurance would be pretty catastrophic if it resolves. They should wait till combat. Yeah, this is not the right play in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and just Daze, and then I will pick up the land to Daze again. I have to stop this. If it wipes my graveyard, my Nethergoyf has to completely reset. Okay. They are paying for my Daze, it looks like. Now I will just Daze again and bounce this to hand. Yeah, if they'd done this during combat, they would almost certainly have been able to eat my Nethergoyf. All right, so now I get my draw. So those Dazes were good. Okay, and I think we just play it out, and I'm just going to attack. And I'll hold up Brainstorm until I have a little more cards in my hand, a few more cards in my hand. I can also panic Brainstorm if I really need to force something. All right, they may have another one. Okay, it looks like they do have another one. So I do think it's worth forcing this if I find a force. I did. That's great. Okay, so I'm just going to put this back and this back. Yeah, I am going to force this. My reasoning is this Nethergoyf is doing a lot of damage, and we're keeping their board clear. I don't want to lose my graveyard. Now I can draw. I should draw. Oh, I drew the Psychic Frog. I should have drawn the other card just in case they do have like some sort of discard. All right, and they are a mid-rangey deck, so they are favored from here on out. They have their mana underneath them, which we've allowed. And we've gotten a few 1-for-2s. Is this another endurance? What is this? That's not the worst, but they probably have a land drop here. Yeah, and they've got 2 land drops. So they're going to get... Are they going to make copies of the Noble Hierarch, or are they just going to... You just get insects. Yeah, that's fine. Well, this basically walls me forever. Okay, Once Upon a Time Hardcast. Let's see what they find. They're down to 2 cards in hand. Psychic Frog should be good. I'll keep the Swamp in hand to strengthen the Psychic Frog in case I need to. All right, they found White of the Reliquary, which they can't immediately cast, but is going to be bigger than anything on my board, that's for sure. All right. So this is like my last turn to attack in, I think. I will do so. And I'm unfortunately kind of like on the brink of like conceding this game because White, I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, they're blocking. That makes sense. I could get lucky. I am going to be jumping the Frog and trying to connect to try to draw to a Fatal Push. They've got at least 1 insect coming. White is going to be, I think is White based on the number of creatures you have in your graveyard? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be a 4/4 or like a 5/5 or something. It's going to be big. Okay, they get another token. All right, playing out a lot of mana here. What is this? Natural Order? Greenstone Zenith for X equals 3. This could be an endurance, which would be very sad. Yep, it is an endurance. They have at least 3 endurances in their deck, which is not a card you see that frequently anymore. Even in like Cradle control type decks, they may not be playing Cradle control per se. They're not attacking. The unfortunate thing to note is unless I rip a fetch, wait, even with the fetch, I don't think I have 3 cards for Psychic Frog. Yeah, this I'm gonna concede. I don't see a path to victory here. We discarded everything. Like they've got several turns. This has reach. Yeah. Yep. Again, the fair deck, the fair non-blue deck versus the fair blue deck. We are much more favored against combo matchups, but they are much more favored against us. So I do think with Mana Dorks, Orcish Bowmasters makes sense. Snap inclusion of Toxic Deluge, I think Psychic or Long Goodbye makes sense. I don't think the Forces make a lot of sense here. The Dazes were good and we're on the play. We'll board the Dazes back in when we're on the draw. I don't know that Graphic Cage makes sense just to stop Greenstone Zenith. Let's see. Did we see anything else? I mean, they could be playing Natural Order. I don't see any other cards that really make sense. So cards that can come out. I mean, the Nile Spellbomb is pretty bad, but it actually does kind of help a little bit in the sense that if they have white of the Reliquary or something like that, it can do some. It's not terrible, but like I'm not convinced it's good. We saw white. That was the only graveyard interaction based card that we saw. I think I'm going to cut them and go like full tempo here. Like hope to get like just tons of pressure on the table. Yeah. Because they are playing like Bayous and stuff. So they're not just playing like straight a monocolor deck like the last round where there was literally nothing to Wasteland except for the Takenuma. All right, we'll play first. It doesn't have a threat, but it's not bad. I think we probably just Island Ponder again. Yeah. I don't think wasting the Dork would have done anything there, by the way, for the record. Like I labored over that a little bit. Like I kind of snapped, didn't waste it. We didn't see a Wasteland last game, but I don't want to find ourselves in a situation where we're on our back foot because I just want to have our mana solved. Okay, this is great. So Tamiyo with removal, I'm digging it. So I'm just going to, just in case they Thoughtseize, I think I'll get the redundant. Well, actually, if we draw Brainstorm now and then next turn, no, we're not going to have a second land to be able to Tamiyo. I'll just take the Brainstorm now and I'll take the Tamiyo next turn. It was probably actually better to take the Tamiyo just in case they have like, Thoughtseize into Surgical Extraction, which is not a good play. Like you shouldn't play Surgical Extraction against this deck, but some people do. They might think we're like blue-black Reanimator or something and do it on those grounds. Okay, this is a Wasteland target. This is a Daze target. I think I Daze this. I always Daze this. Like, I think you always do. This does mean I can't play Tamiyo. All right, and now I'm going to Wasteland them. I'm just going to hope to high roll that they didn't have anything else. We already stopped like the most scary one drop in their deck. We'll have a turn to deploy Tamiyo next turn. They probably play a ton of land in their deck, so but at the same time, they probably are not used to playing around, Wasteland, turn 1. All right, they do have a basic. No play. All right. So we did not technically lose tempo there. All right, and now we can protect Tamiyo if we need to, and then we'll attempt to flip her the following turn. We are going to need to find a black source before we can truly defend her with Fatal Push, but they have a lot of small creatures in their deck that can't do a lot of damage, so Tamiyo should be able to defend herself at least a little bit. I would love for them to like tap out for like a white or something like that. Another wastable land. Noble Hierarch. Yep, that resolves. All right, and they're not doing anything. So we can flip Tamiyo here after we get the clue. Bowmasters. Oh, I so badly wish I had land. All right, I'm just going to attack, and then I'll flip her. And then we'll hope to find a fetch. And cards were likely to shuffle away. And the Daze isn't necessarily expired, but it is pretty close. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We are doing this around Bowmasters, which is probably a card in their deck. We whiffed completely. We completely whiffed. We're completely screwed. This is not our night. All right, I'm going to put back the borrowers, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I'll put the deluge back just in case they thought these, because that is my kind of like trick to get back into the game. We do have Brainstorm next turn, though, so it's not the end of the world. It just feels like it. And if they go for a 3-drop and they don't have a fourth mana source, we do have Daze, and there's no penalty to playing Daze here. There's the white I was worried about. All right. It's currently a 3-3, so yeah, it's a 2-2 and then it gets 1. Okay, yeah, they're just playing it to phase that out. That doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Okay, well, I guess they just wanted to play a land for the turn. It'd be cool if like there was like some like you could like kill creatures that were in phased out, or like there was some phasing land. I guess they kind of already had that with Shadow, but I was just thinking, wouldn't it be cool if there was like a... Okay, I think I'm under enough pressure that I do want to successfully brainstorm into a land here. So let's hope that this breaks the brainstorm lock. If not, we are super duper dead. Okay, we're not totally dead. We're only mostly dead. We can ponder next turn. The question is, do we waste them? I don't think we waste them at this point. I think I just play out the Wasteland. So I'll put this back. We're not going to cast it anytime soon. Put the Bowmaster back so we can preserve the element of surprise here. Play this out. If I plus this, they're going to attack for like 3 plus 1, so 4 minus 1. So they're going to attack her for 3. I'm going to keep her alive. I don't think it's correct to cash her in because we do have a ponder. We're going to break out of this. We're going to get a fatal push and they won't have an attacker. That's exactly what's going to happen. You got to believe. This ponder, you know, decent chance that we do hit the okay, Cradle. Yeah, they've got lots of mana. This Daze is looking pretty embarrassing. And I can't even Daze right now because I need to be able to ponder. Oh boy. How dead are we? Yeah, there's nothing we can do about this. Daze isn't going to do it. They're up to... This is now a 4-4. They should have attacked before they did this, unless they're going to get Atraxa. Yeah. It sucks. But the good news is we bounce this back to hand. Like they don't have another way to play it. It's just a dead card. So Borrower does answer Atraxa pretty much permanently. Yeah, I don't think they can produce all those different colors to recast her. But the bad news is their hand just went from a 3-card hand to like an 8-card hand. Let's see, they chose Misty Rainforest. Oh, they only got 3 cards? All right, let's... Yeah, these 3. Springheart and Tuco is really good. Again, as good as it is, I can't do anything about it. The green sun's do anything for 1 or for 0? Okay. So they're going to go get the elf, which they can sack, and they can search the library for another creature or for another land. Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure why they use their green sun's. If they're really confident. Okay, so this is going to lose 3 loyalty. It'll be a 3. If we do take a turn off to borrow this, then this can... Well, they can... No, actually, I think we can keep it around. Yeah, I think I'm going to... Oh, wait. They can freaking use this to phase this out. They probably have more of these. When you see one, there are like a lot of them waiting in the wings. Okay, so I'm going to just pass to my turn. Okay, so our options are Ponder for a Swamp. Okay, so here's the play to win line. We Ponder, we find an Underground Sea or a Fetch, and then we can get a land drop and Borrower. That's what I'm going to try to do. All right, we didn't hit anything. I'm going to shuffle, and then I'm going to concede if we don't find a land. We didn't find a land. All right, good games. Yeah, there was no way that like I was going to be able to navigate that. So my thinking was, and I'm not salty. I'm not like rage quitting or anything. Like the game is over. Like there's no way we're winning. So my thinking was, we find an Underground Sea. We bounce this to hand if they allow it. We'll do that during combat. Actually, this has vigilance, but we'll pass to their turn, and then we'll do this, whenever. But basically, like, she'll be at 5. They'll be attacking for 4, unless they decide to sack this end step, in which case this will get a little bit bigger, but it still won't be enough to kill her. Then we can brainstorm, and then they have to fetch to phase her out before she does combat damage, And then we have the second borrower, which we can follow up the following turn. So Tamiyo would buy us a few turns, but we're so far behind in terms of land development that there's nothing really we can do. So this game would have been completely different if I hadn't been sheepish and if I had just gotten the Underground Sea. I think that would have like dramatically changed the course of the game. Look at all this removal we have in our hand. So there's a lesson here. The lesson is don't freaking go for the basic every time like you're playing a control deck because you're playing a tempo deck. All right, let's try to do better in round 3. Thanks. I'll say I'm going to try to do better in round 3. I'm not going to drag you into this. You didn't make any of the decisions. I did. I made my bed. I will sleep in it, and I will roll and toss and turn in the night. All right, we're back for round 3, and we have lost the die roll, but this hand is quite strong. It has lots of mana. It has some disruption. It has a Psychic Frog. It has 2 pieces of interaction. I think our opponent is likely on a fair deck based on like historically, like many years ago, they did play Delver. It was like a year ago. So I'm going to keep this. And if they're on a combo deck, well, we do have Thoughtseize for that. Okay, Exploration. So they're on lands. So this is not a good matchup either, but it's not the worst. Okay. They're already down to 3 cards. We just want to make sure that they don't have... Okay, if they push an elf... Okay, there. I'm going to push that elf. That's what I meant to say. If they play an elf, I'm going to push that elf. I think that's a very easy decision. The other thing we could do is... so let's say hypothetically they do have Life from the Loam. I will play this Spellbomb out next turn. I'm just going to go ahead and get my Swamp because this deck notoriously plays a whole lot of Wastelands. And we're going to get rid of this right now before I can start searching for stuff. Next turn... we can potentially Thoughtseize and Nile Spellbomb. Thoughtseize is not good against their deck, but we might as well use it. It's better used now than later, unless they completely go to Hellbent, which is possible. So if they Loam here, we're just looking at them getting 2 cards back, and then we can get rid of the Loam. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, so they have developed their mana ridiculously, and we should assume that all our tempo-based gameplay ideas are for naught. Okay, I should have just played at the island there. That was a misplay. Because now I have to actually go to Underground Sea. But maybe that'll bait them to spend time wasting one of our Underground Seas. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to find a silver lining here. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit this now and draw a card. All right. We would like to use the ability. And we draw a card. It's an Underground Sea. We'll pass. All right. We got rid of the most scary card in their deck. Which is, of course, Life from the Loam. But they do have 3 more copies in their deck. So they fetch and step just a thin, I guess. Right. This is... What was that? Oh, they have the freaking Giganta or whatever her name is. I didn't know about that card. I just didn't look at it. Okay, so your deck has no more than 1 same mana symbol. And okay, so basically all your cards are generic mana. This can be a 5/5. That's no joke, and they can cast it next turn. That's pretty big. I think I might have to Thoughtseize that away. Okay. So, yeah, man, that's pretty good here. I wish I had seen that they had that in the command zone. I didn't see it. Okay, and we can't really easily get rid of it. We can bounce it, but I think what we have to do here is probably just Psychic Frog, and then so I'll Thoughtseize first just to see what's in their hand. Then I'm almost certainly going to Psychic Frog here. But it sucks that we have to use one of our cards on. Oh, wow. Okay, so, yeah, I'm just going to... I'll get her. And then I can force the plow. Or I can take this and then I'll force the creature when they cast it. I think it's better because it forces them to use their mana. Black, blue... Frog. And we have a lot of cards we can pitch. Like these lands, everything is going to get pitched to Frog. We're just going to try to close the game. Seiju doesn't matter. They can hit our non-basic actually. So it's kind of like a Wasteland. All right, it looks like they're going to play her out. And I think I can just force her, right? Like she didn't have any uncounterability or anything. Yep. All right. So I'm just going to start buffing up my Frog and hitting him for damage as fast as I can. I'm just going to attack and pitch everything here. And they could very much, draw another plow, but they don't have any selection in their deck. So we're going to hit them for 4. We're going to draw a card. Next turn, we're going to hit them for 6. And then the next turn, we're going to hit them for dead. Okay, they got a Maze of Ith. Terrible. We definitely need to find a Wasteland now. Oh, they got Dark Depths too. Scary time. Okay. Let's see if we can find a Wasteland here. That would be great. We have 4 in our deck. We did not. So what I'll do is I'm going to put back this card that is very bad. Put back this card that is very bad. Now I'm going to attempt to ponder. And then next turn, if we absolutely need to, we can brainstorm. So I'm going to shuffle these. We got rid of 3 very bad cards there. We didn't find the Wasteland. I can't brainstorm. I'm just going to hold this. I just got to chill. And next turn I can brainstorm. No point in attacking here. I'm just going to F6 through this. This could be a really long match. Once upon a time. Okay, what is this? Any card? Land or creature. Okay. They chose a Windswept Heath. Well, that's good for us. Now Spell Bomb. Not the worst. I'm going to start by brainstorming because I do want to find the land. Oh, double. That's so good. Okay. I don't mind drawing either of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it like this. No, we want the borrower first because it could be a matter of life and death. Okay. Now, I'm just going to play this out. To my knowledge, they have 0 cards in hand. I can just hit this. Then I can attack them. What are they doing here? Okay, they're removing ice counters. That's fine. That's weird timing. I don't think it's going to matter. I am just going to discard 1 card here. And I'll hit them for 5. That does mean I have to hit them an extra time. Yeah, I'm just going to go in because I want to kill them before they can... I don't want to give them an extra turn to potentially rip the card. Now we got Borrower, which covers depths even if they get it into play. But I am kind of screwed if they just find another Maze of Ith. So what I'll have to do if they find another Maze of Ith is actually cast the Brazen Borrower and beat them that way. Okay, this conceded. Great. We won a game. We're on the board. In 5 games, we finally won 1. Okay. So Powder Keg, very good against their deck. Bowmasters, not good at all. Like notoriously bad. Harbinger of the Seas, insane. Force Negation, quite good. I don't think Inside of Memories where we're wanting to be. Let's talk about cards that are bad. Like Daze, terrible card against their deck. Like basically, like if they happen to play a spell that can be countered. I think all these other cards are fine. The baubles aren't embarrassing because they do help you get... Like I didn't see a... what's it called? A Vexing Bauble in there. Yeah, I think we just do it like this. I mean, on the play, we might bring some of these back in, but they are pretty bad. In terms of artifacts, I just don't... Triggered abilities, yeah, this isn't that good. Long Goodbye does hit the... I'm going to leave these in just out of respect for the elf. The elf is potentially a beating. All right. Unfortunately, I don't think we keep this. This is just like one of the downsides of playing 4 Wastelands instead of playing more colored sources. You get hands like this that are otherwise outstanding, but you just can't like sit there and wait for like 3 turns to draw land. It's just not a good look. And you don't want to fire these off willy-nilly at just random lands. Their entire deck is lands. So you want to save these for like the Maze of Ith. This is much better. Okay. This is a snap keep. I'm just going to... I think I put back the Polluted Delta, and then I can find it if I need it. So the goal is very much to stick the Harbinger and distract with Nethergoyf. So hopefully they plow the Nethergoyf. We have Fatal Push if they have the Elf. We have Ponder to find the 3rd land. But we're going to fetch Island, then we're going to fetch Swamp, and then we're going to go for the Harbinger. Harbinger doesn't necessarily solo this matchup because they do have Plow, but it is very good. They found Yavimaya. There's the elf. I'm going to kill it. Shoot on sight. The judge rules with extreme prejudice against the defendant. Likely a reoffender for the worst of white collar crimes. All right. Let's just send Elfie Boy over the edge. I like having this Force of Will with Ponder just in case something crazy happens. Like sometimes these decks just like turbo out Merit Lage, for example. That's a problem, but it shouldn't be too big of a problem. All right, so here's my thinking. We could force this. They do have 2 cards. They can actually like put the search trigger on the stack, and then they can sack it and then get like an artifact and a land that way. I don't like this guy. He's just too good. All right, they're down to 3 cards in hand. We are going to need to draw a land for Harbinger. This is a great draw. I'd much rather play out another Nethergoyf this turn than play out a Psychic Frog than another Nethergoyf, just because it's potentially much more impactful. It can potentially draw us to our 3rd land for next turn. It's certainly possible that this gets plowed. They don't have white currently. All right, they have the land. Still no basics. Path. Oh, so bad that we don't have any more land. I won't bother shuffling. Now the jig is up. They know that we don't have any more basics. If we just draw a freaking any land. Any land that taps for colors. Wasteland is not the worst. I won't complain about a Wasteland. All right, we did it. We're there, folks. We made it. They are going to need to do something seriously powerful this turn. Blue, black, Harbinger. Saga is dead. Death to Saga. Bye-bye. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. All right, they've got a bunch of islands. They've got even more islands. They put the Giganta thing in their hand. Whatever she's called. I can't remember. All right. That's a pretty good pickup. Let's take a look at our graveyard. So this is currently 2-3, which is pretty puny. I'm trying to think of a reason. I think we wait a turn to use the Brainstorm, or we emergency Brainstorm. I'm going to play another Nethergoyf here. This speeds up the clock. It literally doubles it. This card that they revealed, what is her casting cost? It's a big beater if they can find a basic. It can be a green or a red. It is scary. So a force would be a good draw. Powder keg, not outstanding. I mean, it would speed up the clock, but it's just, I think I'm going to hold it and I can emergency Brainstorm it back. They find their basic forest. Oh, nope. Oh, and Legend Roll still applies. Yeah, they were trying to see if like that somehow like reset the layers, which is totally legit. Like somebody was asking about that the other day, but no, they're islands and they have no abilities regardless of what layer that comes in on. Right, I'm just going to attack here and I'm going to hold up Brainstorm. I'm not going to do anything. Well, I could Brainstorm. I don't have any way of breaking the Brainstorm. Let's see. If I Brainstorm, I could find a Psychic Frog. That's a reasonable Brainstorm. This, if I'd done this before, I would have been able to do Bobble. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Put this back. This probably won't matter. Put this back. This probably won't matter. I'm going to play this out because now I have Hardcast Force Negation, which is quite good against their deck. I'm just going to look at their top card. My Nethergoyf. I mean, that wouldn't have cut a turn off. But the good news is they're drawing dead. Because this would have been a 5 instead of a 4. It might have cut a turn off. No, I don't think it would have cut a turn off. It's going to be 2 more attacks either way. All right. They're passing. This card. My goodness, I'm so glad they printed it. Like, blue needed a way to punish. Because back to basics just isn't good enough. It's not cutting the mustard in 2024. We definitely needed something better. All right. One more turn for them to potentially draw something. That should be a concession unless they drew something exceptional. Yep, good games. All right, so yeah, this tempo deck, I mean, it may seem weird, like a deck that's built around denying mana up against a deck that's playing like probably 30, 32 lands. But yeah, it's good. All right, let's go to round 4. All right, we're back against Kawaii West. It who played Stifle Knot. I guess that was just a few months ago. So it's not that. And then they played like Teamwork Cascade. Not a lot of information about them. But this is quite a strong hand. Is it? I think it is. Because we have Force if they Stifle. From the west of Kauai, I see. Nice place. I know it's actually they're probably mentioning Kauai like cute in Japanese, but yeah, I'll just mess with them. Okay. Friendly messing with. Okay. Feigning ignorance. Oh, very. So maybe they're playing along, or maybe they actually are from Kauai, which is a very expensive place to live if they are. Okay. So, I mean, this tells me they might have a Stifle. I'm pretty sure this might give them Delver vibes, which I am kind of technically a Delver deck. Dark Ritual. Okay, well, I don't expect a Stifle now. I expect they're on like Doomsday or something. I am going to go ahead and deploy Tamiyo, though, and I'm going to do so on an island. If they're playing Dark Ritual, my double force hand has got a few words to say to them. But I do want to get like some sort of engine on the table. Right, they are fetching. Underground Sea. Okay. Just Underground Sea. Passing priority. Entomb. Well, I think this is a Daze. You stop the enabler. I don't have anything to do next turn anyway. They made Daze back. They are. Okay. I'm not going to pay for their Daze. Do I want to force? I mean, again, like this is how they get their fatty into play. I'm gonna stop this. They do have a Dark Ritual in their hand. This may be sloppy. I don't know. Or they're gonna draw. Oh, wait, they shuffled away the Dark Ritual. Okay, we draw a card here. It's another Tamiyo. So maybe I should have pitched the Brainstorm there instead of force pitching Force. Okay, they're gonna be able to take our Brainstorm, which is our best card in our hand. They've got 4 cards left. I'm not feeling favored. I feel like. But they would have just taken the Force anyway. That would be a very good card if we could play it out. I'll just attack here and we'll pass. Because against their combo deck, we definitely want to be doing that. We stopped their Entomb, though. Entomb is just one of those cards that Wizards decided to unban, even though they banned it for like 10 years and nobody was asking for it to be unbanned. I don't think they're like, yeah, we can unban Entomb. Yeah, I do have a Fatal Push for this, and they know it. I just had to find the land. Land, please. Okay, this will work. I'm going to attack first. And I will risk them having a second Daze here if they want to jump the frog. Okay, they're not jumping the frog. Now I'm going to attempt to flip. Is there a Daze here? Force? Neither. And we are in the butter zone, baby. I don't think Wasteland is... Well, let's see. Okay, so here's my thinking. They could totally have some sort of scary thing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put these on... I'm going to put these back because these are like a later problem. What I want to do is I want to have Force of Will because they are a combo deck. Play this out. See if we can get them to commit some resources before we push it. And we'll pass. And we did put pretty good cards on top that we can use next turn if we don't need to fetch. But I'm almost certain we're going to fetch. Like, I'm trying to imagine a world in which they don't try to like pitch cards. But if they do cost like a Doomsday or something, I want to be able to force it here. I don't think they would have Doomsday and Entomb in the same deck. That wouldn't make any sense. Okay. Surely they're going to attack. They're going to attack and they're going to pitch at least one card, right? And that's when we get to blow them out. Okay, I've debuffed your creature. What say ye? All right, that's fine. We're going to go to block. And now I'm going to attempt to push it. I think it's fine to get the swamp here. I hope I'm not punished for this. We don't have any Dazes in hand. Do they? Oh, now I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good. To quote old Larry David, who we played against the other day. I think this is okay. Do I want to force? I mean, if I force it, they may literally have no action. And we could just run away with the game. I think it's fine. Unless they have like Spell Pierce. They didn't have Daze or anything, so. Okay, what's their other card? Another frog. All right, well, I don't regret the play I made. They're going to have to pitch their one card to connect. Better lucky than good, as I like to say. Yeah, I am going to go ahead and plus, and we're going to repeat the next turn, and they're going to pitch a card, and then we're going to push. Such a good rip. The very best rip. Okay. All right. Do you want to discard your card? If it was an Archon, yeah, that's scary. All right. I will just go ahead and push now. Now that I have let you do what you want to do. So if they rip a reanimate, we're screwed. And the reason we're screwed is the Archon will take out the Tamiyo even if she's about to go off. So there's a very real kind of like, that was a pretty rad sequence, to be honest. Thanks. Super lucky. Okay, Wasteland is not a good rip. It does help us churn through our deck a little bit. Here's what I think we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. I'm going to go ahead and pew. We're going to crack a clue. I'll play the bobble out. I'm going to see what their top draw is. If it's a reanimate, I'm going to crap my pants. Okay, it's a Daze. I think we're good. I can plus. All right, and now I get a card too. Man, this card was good. Like I've been talking a lot of smack on Mishra's bobble, but that's what allowed me to go up with Abandon. No, you played into your outs perfectly. Okay, my opponent is very generous. Thanks. If you'd like, I'll publish the video and you can watch me deliberate in real time. Okay. So let's go in here. Grafdigger's Cage is going to be a snap inclusion because we're up against Rescam. Rescam with Dark Ritual. The Dark Ritual threw me off. Long Goodbye seems really good here. Bowmasters, probably. Yeah, I think I bring in Bowmasters. Cards that we can cut. Let's see. I think on the draw. So I'm not high on Wasteland in this matchup. I don't like to cut too many because we do want some mana, but you're just almost never wasting your opponent because like their knockout, TKO spells are 1 black mana, right? And they have basics that they can fetch. It sucks to shave down on mana, but I don't think that's wrong. We didn't waste them at all that game. Maybe they get greedy. I don't know. I don't like it. Okay, so if I want to include all these, what am I taking out? Nethergoyf is strong. I don't want to take that out. Thoughtseize is strong against their combo deck. Maybe we don't. Oh, I don't think we take out Forces. I mean, Forces were so vital there. Like, is there like an aggro combo type deck? Like, if they're playing Dark Ritual, like we're gonna get 2 for 2s with Dark Rituals. I think maybe we just bring in a couple of these. This is our only out to troll or to some monster that somehow gets on the table that we can somehow get rid of. I think it's unlikely we're able to get rid of it. We could cut a couple baubles. They may bring in Bowmasters. We could even cut a 3rd bauble. It does help us turbo out. I don't want to cut any of my 1-drops. Yeah. We could cut a Fatal Push in favor of Long Goodbye because they don't play that many creatures. Yeah, I think we do that. Long Goodbye is definitely better than Fatal Push in this. It's just marginally better, but like everything that that Fatal Push hits in their deck, Long Goodbye will hit too. And by everything I mean Frog basically, and maybe a Tamiyo. I don't like this hand because we don't have any graveyard interaction. I don't think Psychic Frog is good enough on the draw. I'm going to mulligan. This is a force hand. I think we put back the Wasteland. Wasteland does help us play around Daze. Maybe we put back the second force. Then we have Frog. Because we don't have a way. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. And that way we can have Daze protection around some of our spells at least. All right. Are they going to just go to discard here? Oh, they mulled the 5. Damn. Okay. Yeah, I was like, why are they passing through the turn? Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, they probably have a combo hand if they mulled the 5. I'm kind of inclined to just play this out and pass in case they do have like a Daze protected Entomb. We do need to stop Entomb. That's like enemy number 1 in this deck. Okay, here's the Entomb. I'm going to force. I'm going to pitch Psychic Frog because I can dig for more interaction. Or I can dig for more action. Like they're so low in resources that I need to be able to brainstorm into another removal spell in case they have another Entomb or something. That's fine. This represents that they may not have any lands, and this Wasteland might be pretty good. Of course, they may waste me, which would suck. Okay, they do have a second land. So I don't think wasting them is correct then. I think I'm just going to cast over the Nethergoyf. Another land would be great. Actually, this is insane. Check this out. I'm just going to go ahead and play this, and I am going to Thoughtseize. I'll be very sad if they have an Entomb. They did have the Reanimate. They do have the Frog. Okay, so we kind of need to take the Reanimate. The Frog we can push. The Reanimate represents a lot of potential danger. Their other card is a land, so we're definitely not using this Wasteland in this game. Yeah, they have an island. Okay, so I'm just going to pass. Next turn, we can play a pretty stacked Nethergoyf, but we're going to almost certainly push their Frog. In Frog, they also have a discard outlet, so they don't necessarily need to Entomb. Yep. All right, so this Swamp is great news because it means I can both push and Nethergoyf this turn, and I think I am. Let's start by Nethergoyfing here. They don't, so their one card in hand is unknown now. They could draw into like a force spell or something. That would be bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and wait for them to attack and exile some stuff, and then I can push. I think that's fine. We have Daze protection. Their last card would have to literally be force blue card to be able to stop the fatal push. I mean, it could be like Spell Pierce or something, but I don't think their deck plays Spell Pierce. I do want them to burn some cards in their graveyard to try to get through. Okay, they're attacking. Are they going to exile cards? Okay, they are. Whoa, Scoob, they pitched Show and Tell? That is terrifying. Well, I'm glad I waited. My goodness. Well, I am going to go ahead and push it now. Yeah, okay, so that's their juke, basically. They can put the monsters that they don't get into the graveyard in through Show and Tell. Okay, so this is good because I'm going to brainstorm first. Their last card could definitely be a Bowmasters. If it is, I can... No, because they'll have 4... Huh. What is the right call here? I don't think this is a Bowmasters, but it definitely could be. And that would be really sad. The other option is that we just go ahead and play out the Strand. I'll play out the Strand first. And now I'm going to brainstorm, and I can, resequence my deck a little bit. This is fine. I'm going to go ahead and play out the Tamiyo. I'm not going to wait. I don't want those cards on top. If they somehow force this, then I have the ability to... Then my Nethergoyf grows in its power. Having seen the card, though, I do think in upkeep I am going to waste them. Just because it would suck for them to somehow get back into range of being able to cast that. All right. I'm feeling pretty good. This is what this deck does. This is what this deck wants to do. It wants to get 1-drops in play and squeeze their mana and still have interaction up. Okay, what is this? Frog? Go for the throat. Fine. Now, Nethergoyf is even bigger. Oh, wow. So lucky. My goodness. My goodness. Okay. And yeah, let's just keep beating. The hits keep coming. I feel like super duper lucky. I'm drawing super hot this game, in my opinion. I mean, this is kind of like what you do. You want the deck to be drawing super hot. That's why you're trimming on lands and stuff like that. All right. So if Tamiyo is able to start attacking, we're in Howling Mind mode. I am going to go ahead and play this now. This is an artifact that I can potentially sacrifice, but I'm not going to sacrifice it until they have something important on the stack. And I'm not going to draw from my clue until end step when I know they can't Thoughtseize it away. I'm not in a hurry to flip my Tamiyo. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to bother. That's fine. So we are not immune to show and tell, but that would happen next turn, and they would be very low in life. Wow, good games. And I think they may have quit before I can say. So let's just take a look at what we would have drawn here. More land. Brainstorm, which could have... Yeah, we could have cracked and then drawn a land, and then next turn we could have flipped her potentially, but I don't think that's what we want to do. I don't think flipping Tamiyo in these circumstances... Well, actually, I think it is good because we could ramp up toward like a Force of Will and have Force Protection in addition to Nile Spellbomb. But yeah, like this deck, one of the... like I keep getting so tempted to play Rescam. I watch, Andrea Munguchi, I watch Max Dorshin, I watch like... Everybody just have these insane like comebacks where they're like, oh, the top card is Reanimated, and I can get my monster into play, and like suddenly I'm up like 4 cards and the game completely flips, and it's like, oh, I really want to harness that power, but it does. I don't like Entomb personally. I don't like that playstyle. I don't. I've kind of like talked ad nauseum about this, but I really like what we just experienced, where it's like 1-for-1s back and forth. It's very like every decision is very deliberate. You're on the edge of your seat the entire time. That's why I like these kind of like tempo control decks. When you're playing combo, it's like, okay, did my combo resolve? Okay, now I've got all the cards, and like what I do from this point, nothing from this point really matters anymore, right? It kind of like strips both players of agency, because one player can like just like flip through their giant hand and just throw away value just to pelt their opponent into submission. And I feel like it's definitely much more fun when you're playing like tight games like that, where, I mean, yes, technically I'm controlling them. So I guess I don't mind being the control deck versus the combo deck, because you're like the mongoose fighting the snake. The cobra can win at any time. All it's got to do is bite you. You're the mongoose. You have to like keep attacking it and stripping its skin away and like clawing it and trying to dig through and hit some critical blood vessel or something like that. Well, meanwhile, they just keep striking, and if they get lucky, that's GG, right? So like I kind of really enjoy the stress and the thrill of this, whereas I haven't played a lot of combo. I used to play a combo deck back in the day called Spanish Inquisition. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. I would play that, and that was really fun, but it was just basically like, oh, do you have force? Okay, let's go to game 2. And obviously newer combo decks are not that weak. There have been a lot of good cards printed over the last 15 years, but it still does, like, I'd much rather be the person who has to come up with the answers than the person asking the questions, All right, see you in round 5 whenever that happens. We're 2-2. All right, I'm going to show you this person's MTGO history. Or yeah, like, do you think they're on Doomsday? Most likely. Now, this is an older finish, so they're probably not on Doomsday, but it looks like we're going to get some more Mongoose on Cobra action here. If they are playing this is like a turbo Doomsday with like the personal tutors. They may have switched. I mean, I think Tempo Doomsday. I'm going to play Tempo Doomsday on the channel, by the way. I haven't forgotten that I talked to Michael Reed about playing that. Oh, this is a good hand against Doomsday. I'm going to keep this. And we were blessed with being on the play. So here's what I think we're going to do. First, I'm going to double check and make sure they actually are on Doomsday. Let's see that top card. Spin that wheel. Okay, Dark Ritual. Notorious Doomsday card. Now, kind of think I'm just going to chill. My reasoning being that like they could have a whole lot of interaction. They could just go for it. If I Nethergoyf, then I don't have 2 points of interaction anymore. If I wait a turn and Nethergoyf, I have plenty. All right, we're drawing a card. If they are on like a Wasteland Doomsday build, I'm going to be super duper sad. Okay, they're not. Okay, Tamiyo is fine. I got to push for that. I think I'm just going to push now. I don't see a lot of use for my pushes, and if this gets dazed or somehow interacted with, it's not the end of the world. I can always daze back. Okay, good. So they're likely on a more, not necessarily tempo Doomsday, but on a version of Doomsday that does actually, play with creatures, probably Frog and Tamiyo. Okay, they got a Misty on top. That makes me not want to waste them. I'm going to play this out, though, just for Daze protection. And I'm going to play out the Nethergoyf. And we still have 2 points of interaction, and we're going to be hitting them. And if we do decide to hit their one of their lands, which I don't think we should do. I'm trying to think if there's any reason. Well, I guess technically denying them a land does deny them the ability to drop a Psychic Frog next turn. If they drop Psychic Frog, I could Daze. Yeah, I think I'm going to hit this. Their mana is dear to them. All right, they had the edge. They had the edge of on them. Punished. Epic punish. Okay, so I didn't even think, it didn't even occur to me, like, oh yeah, they probably got like one, or how many epic Edge of Onyms do they play? Like maybe 1, 2? Okay. But yeah, that is a very good card against Doomsday. Okay, so we get our card. All right, it's a Tamiyo. That's good. We can cast that. All right, they are surveilling, so we know they have another land. I'm not wasting them ever again. I'm not going to repeat that mistake. They pitched a Force, so I presume they have some sort of stack-based interaction in their hand. Okay. I am going to go ahead and play Tamiyo because if she gets no. If she gets countered, it does make the Nethergoyf bigger. But so does Ponder. I'm going to Ponder. Ponder makes the Nethergoyf bigger. I don't think we turn these down. I want to get some extra information about their deck, so I'm going to do this. I mean, I could be looking for land, but really I've got like all I need to win on the table already. Let's go ahead and see what their top card is. I feel so dumb for wasting them there. Okay, they do have a Psychic Frog coming. So I can attempt to Daze that, and then we can get into a Daze fight. I know I don't have a land coming, so I have double force to potentially win the fight. I will pitch a Tamiyo, because I don't think she's going to matter here. The cool thing about Doomsday is if you just hit them low enough in life, like they can't really Doomsday anymore. Here's the Dark Rit. I'm not sure what the last card is, but I don't really care to find out. I'm going to go ahead and pitch a Tamiyo here. I think this Daze will be live later. Okay, wow, it worked. Oh, and they're just going to burn that off? They were really scared of my Daze. This is great for me. Okay. Now we draw. Now Spell Bomb doesn't do anything in this matchup. I can just draw through it. I don't think they have a Daze because they would have just Dazed there. So I am going to go ahead and hit them, and I'm just going to play this out. They're now at 11, so they're not going to be able to do a pass the turn pile anymore. I mean, technically they probably could, but they would be really cutting it close. Okay, they got a ton of mana. Dark Ritual. Doomsday? Dark Ritual? Oh my goodness. That's fine. I'm going to let that resolve. And then if they Doomsday here, I'm just going to, yeah, that's not going to go through, dude. All right. Cool. So they're Hellbent. I think they lose here. They can throw their Psychic Frog in front of me. I had like one of those nights, as they said, I'm drawing hot, not going to lie. All right. Okay. So the great news is we can just nuke their graveyard and they can't even give a flight, but it's not like it's a big deal. We do need to keep beating them. This doesn't do anything. I'm just going to draw through this. I don't care about them drawing a card. I care about them having a lot of life. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to exile their graveyard. I think playing it out is fine. It just gives us mana in case they do like have some sort of Daze effect, but I'm not worried anymore. We're doing tons of damage here. They can gradually make their Psychic Frog bigger, but they don't really have the luxury of time. Yeah, we just need a creature in our graveyard, and our Nethergoyf will be full-sized. This is fine. I do have Thoughtseize, so I can rip, some of their cards out if they don't use them immediately. Fatal Push is good. I can't immediately bring it back. Yeah, but I will be able to bring it back, and I've got plenty of redundancy in my cards. So this is one of the situations where if I had the Surveillant, I could go get it. So we could still lose this. Okay. That's a good draw. All right. I think I'm just going to Thoughtseize them first. Do I want to do that? They can just pitch it to... I'm trying to think of what they would have held. Yeah, I'll just do it. I've got tons of life. I'm not worried about dying here. I think they pitch. Yeah, it's it's another Fatal Push. Oh, I'm glad I did that. Yeah, never forget that they could just be holding a removal spell for your threat that you're about to play. Yeah. All right, and now I'm just going to play this Nethergoyf, and they can still technically fly over Nethergoyf's head. Yeah, the Thoughtseize resolves. Okay, and now I will play my Nethergoyf. Okay, I was confused. I'm not used to having the text box over here. I know I've talked about that in the channel before. I usually have it over here, so I didn't realize I just was not paying attention. Okay, so we've got a 5/6 now. If they attack, I'm going to attack back. They're in a really bad place. Okay, so they do have a 3/4. Exile everything, jump. But they're not going to be able to jump next turn, but it's not going to matter because they're dead in 2 turns. Doomsday will be off the table. Basically the only way they will win is by finding a removal spell for my Nethergoyf. Because I don't think they can grow the frog to be big enough. They might be able to. See, 2 more cards on it, and they could potentially block. But then I'm drawing to a lot of stuff. They're standing still. My own Psychic Frog. Don't mind if I do. I am going to attack first just in case. They do have a removal spell somehow. All right. And we're going to go ahead and play in the Daze here. All right. So they can attack. If they do attack, they're dead. Yeah. Okay. They concede. Okay, good. I think this is a good matchup for us. I think this is a really good matchup because we're on the 4 days, 4 Wasteland version. So we have maximum early game disruption, and they're a deck that plays very much on the margins. So Bowmasters is quite good. We did see Tamiyo, so Long Goodbye is going to be good here. I don't think any of this other stuff is important. Consign technically can stop the Thassa's trigger, but it's such a narrow thing. If you're getting to that point in the game, you screwed up. And they may be able to figure out a way to play around it. Cards that we don't care about. I'm going to take the Now Spellbombs out. They don't really matter. The fact that we have Thoughtseize in our deck too, it's just brutal. I mean, this is practically like Death Shadow, but without all the disadvantages of having to hurt yourself. That's what this deck is. Okay, Brazen Borrower, pretty bad. They might have Barrowgoyf or something where we can hit that, but we can also hit that with our removal spells. They could. The scariest thing they could have would be Shieldred. They might Dark Writ a whole bunch to get Shieldred into play. That's one reason to keep this. It is also it's blue. So I think we could probably not go all 4 of these. It's not that great against them. It's good, but it's not great. We could cut one of these. I don't know if I really want to cut one because this can bounce a frog that's getting wild, putting a lot of counters on it. Oh. The eternal question, what to cut? I mean, your deck is already super duper strong against somebody's deck. I don't think they're likely to have, I could cut a fetch or an Underground Sea or something like that. I don't know that I want to screw with that. I don't think they're likely to attack our land though. They could be doing a full tempo juke is one thing to note. I kind of want to cut a Wasteland because it is a pretty bad draw against them. They have the lots of ways of, and land is just, it's not maybe we get lucky and they don't have any lands, but I don't think that's likely to happen. So we did just kind of slightly increase the average converted mana cost or mana value of our deck there. This is a strong hand. It doesn't have a force. We're on the draw. If they go for it, we're screwed. They are already mulliganed. I think we do have to mulligan here. They're on the turbo version. This has Daze. We're on the draw. Otherwise, strong hand. I think we put back the Delta. Yeah, because they're not going to have waste, and our hand is basically 1 mana. We could put back the Psychic Frog, but Psychic Frog does pitch to force if we find a force. I want to do this. And I'm going to hope they don't turn 1 me. Okay. Some turn 1 behavior right here. Please ponder. Nope. No rest for the... oh, yeah, that's not the worst. Okay, and they just went down a lot of cards, and our Longaby is pretty much deterministically going to stop that. And we did draw a land. Okay, so I think what we do here, I'm going to start by looking at their top card. Murktide. Okay. Now I'm kind of wishing that I had kept the other card in because we don't actually have a good answer to Murktide. Let me think about this. So, options. One, we could just throw a Nethergoyf in front of this to prevent them from being... Actually, no, they're going to draw the Murktide. Other option is... So if we throw the Nethergoyf in front of it, it's going to be a 2-3. Not big enough to tango. I think we have to let them hit us once. And hopefully they don't draw like... hopefully they don't get a good creature off of it. Yeah, I think playing out the Nethergoyf is fine, and then next turn we Longaby it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm aware that this does leave us vulnerable to a few other things, but I want to be cracking them back as quickly as I get this Barragoyf out of play, because once they get their third land, Murktide will eventually come down, and it will be not fun. Okay, that's a good draw. Okay, so they already have their second land. I'm just going to take this. Lifelink is really good for them too. They got a Tamiyo. That's pretty good. I still need to Longaby this though. I'm just gonna have to attack in and try to yeah, Tamiyo's fine. So my Nethergoyf is going to be a little bit bigger here. Actually, it'll be big enough that they won't be able to block with Tamiyo. And we drew a Fatal Push for the Tamiyo. But first order of business. Is it the first order of business? We could just crack and then Fatal Push. I'm worried that if they have a Daze or if they have a Force that is punished. I'm just going to... I need to get this out of play. It's too dangerous. All right, so let's go ahead and... let's just Longaby it. All right, now this is big enough to attack in. I could have attacked and waited to see if they blocked it, but I don't think they would block. Next turn, we have another Nethergoyf, but if they just untap and slam a Murktide, see, 1-2, it'll be a 5-5. It's not the end of the world. They are being patient and they're waiting to play with Murktide. They're getting a token here. If they brainstorm, there's nothing I can do, but I can attack it down. If they have a Daze, they can Daze back here. Yeah, that's fine. Again, we're going to be able to take some chunks out of it. It'll slow us down a lot, though. That turn 1 Barragoyf was very strong. Not quite as strong as the turn 1 Doomsday would have been, though. So I am grateful that they didn't have turn 1 Doomsday. Okay. All right, let's see what their other card is. Might be a Fatal Push. They have... Oh, this might be the Murktide. I'm so glad that they are Murktiding here. If they have a Daze or a Force, it's probably GG, but I'm going to try my best here. I just wanted to get the Murktide out of their hand. Yeah, let's Daze this. Does it work? They are dazing back. I'm just going to scoop. I don't think we can win because they're going to be ticking this up. We don't have... Well, okay, let's play it out. We have plenty of time. I'm just going to play it out. This is not the hugest, if that's a word. It's a 6-6, though. That's pretty damn big. Okay. So we do have... I think we still have both borrowers in our deck, but we should definitely have them both in now, knowing what happened here. I'm going to go blue, black, play out my frog. I'm going to have to jump the frog and then pitch my hand, basically, and even that's not going to kill it. So I'm going to take one hit from it, then I'm going to crack back, and I'll keep the frog back to deal with the Murktide subsequent turn. And they're still drawing cards. I mean, they got this clue. They've got a lot going on in addition to this Murktide. So we're not favored by any means here. We're like, I'd say we're like 10% to win this. Maybe 10%. Maybe like 5. And at any point, they do have a I win button in their deck, Doomsday, and they can now hardcast it without even using a Dark Ritual. So that's another thing we have to think about. Good news is they did exile it with their... Oh, they're opting to like hold back. That's... If we draw Brazen Borrower, best draw on our deck. My Kingdom for a Brazen Borrower. Okay, we didn't draw it. Let's see. This could attack for not 6. And it would actually lose power. I'm just going to scoop. Yeah. Okay. Let's try again. Yeah, drawing that land is just too... It didn't do anything. I still think we played all right. I don't take issue with any of our plays. They had a really strong opening. And so both of my borrowers are in. That's good. Do we still want Bowmaster? I think we do. Now Spellbomb would have played a role there in managing the graveyard. I think it's probably okay to do that. Yeah. Is that what we want to do? We're the aggressor here. I don't think this is the right call. Like, something just tells me Mishra's Bauble is better. Now Spellbomb, yes, it will get rid of their graveyard, but like the game should be ending before we're really that worried about our Murktide hitting. And we do have Brazen Borrower. And hopefully we can just, we can get them in a situation where they're so low in life that they can't attack in any way. I like the ability to immediately replace a card and preserve our mana. I think we're going to play exactly as we were before. Maybe we bring in a Wasteland just to be slightly more aggressive on that angle. We could take out... I'm not taking out a Longaby. Maybe I take out a Fatal Push. Because they are playing the Frogs and they're playing the Tamiyo. Yeah. Maybe this is a mistake. But I'd much rather like counter something on the stack for free than have to spend a bunch of mana and like turn on Revolts and stuff to get rid of it. So, okay. This is for all the marbles. Are we going to have a positive record or not? It's not a good start. Let's mulligan this. I'm not going to speculate that these are going to yield this land, and I don't want to pass through my first turn. This is a much better hand. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to bottom the Psychic Frog. I know it kind of sucks to do that, but we do need to get the Underground Sea Hero. We need to get Thoughtseize going. And Brainstorm does give us a little of additional flexibility. We don't have a second land. Okay, I'm going to do that. This Thoughtseize is basically like the best possible opening card, I think. Thoughtseize is so strong against these types of combo decks because their entire hand could be resting on a single card. All right, they have their own Thoughtseize. They have a Barrowgoyf. They don't have a way to play it out. They have a Daze. This is tough. Really not sure what to do. Fatal Push. They have a single land, though. I think what we do is we take the Thoughtseize because there's nothing else really in their hand worth taking. We can take the Tamiyo. We don't have an answer to Tamiyo. I'm going to take Tamiyo, and then I'm just going to waste them. That'll incentivize them to go ahead and fetch for Thoughtseize. And then hopefully they take something that doesn't matter, and we can waste them, and hopefully they just never draw another land, and we can beat them down with Nethergoyf. Okay, they're being very disciplined, and they're not Thoughtseizing us here for some reason. Okay, I am going to Brainstorm because I don't want to give away the fact that I have a... well, no, I have to. So they have the ability to Thoughtseize me. I just want to make my hand super duper redundant, but at the same time, what are we? Okay, no, I have to play this out. I'm not going to wait. Actually, it might. Okay, this sounds crazy, but hear me out. No, if we play this out, then they just fetch a basic. We're going to scare them. I don't want to do that. I want to hide this from them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put. I want to play Tamiyo next turn, but she's going to die if they have a land. Nethergoyf is actually scarier than Tamiyo here. Let's take a look at their hand one more time. So we took their Tamiyo. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this down. Then I'm going to put this down. This is my next turn draw. Now I'm going to pass. And when they Thoughtseize me, they're going to take one of these redundant cards. And then they're going to think the coast is clear. Hopefully they don't get a swamp. If they get a swamp, I'll be sad. Okay, they surveilled. All right. So, maybe that's a tactic. They put a Force of Will into their graveyard, which makes sense. They've already got a Daze. I just want them to not draw land here. I'm going to Daze this. Am I going to Daze this? I force this, and then I Daze. I think we just let this resolve. Yeah, I think we have to let this resolve. I mean, if they get waste locked, they get waste locked. If they find a land, it's a bummer. They found a land. Okay, so our tactic wasn't going to work anyway. I think this is fine. These Dazes are basically going to be forces once we start wasting them. So if they're smart, I think they'll take a Daze. Yeah, it's just brutal. Like the fact that they found a land. Maybe it was correct, but the fact that they found a land, they probably would have found. Maybe they had one in hand. Maybe they were going to draw another one a turn or two from now. I could have bought myself a turn where I was beating it with Nethergoyf potentially. So yeah, maybe it was correct to push that. So I'm going to go ahead and just go for this one here. Well, I will play this. I know it's going to get killed. That's fine. And then I am going to hit their land here. And we know they have a Daze in their hand. Okay, good. They didn't draw the thing. All right. So if they push, I can Daze. I don't think that's correct, though. Oh, there. They have another land. Okay. I'm feeling like not favored at all. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to interact with that. Okay. I'm trying to remember. We have a Tamiyo off the top. But they have a second Fatal Push. Okay. If they find another land, this Barrowgoyf becomes live. So I don't actually think we can play the Tamiyo because we need to have Daze up so we can hit the Barrowgoyf. But, or so we can force the Barrowgoyf and then they can't Daze us back. So we have 4 cards in hand. We just need lands. If I had known that they had more land, I wouldn't have bothered wasting them. Let's see. What did they shuffle? They didn't shuffle. So I do think they found a third land and maybe even a fourth land. So knowing that they have the Daze in hand, we just have to pass and hope to draw land. This is like rocket surgery. All right, and they know that we have the ability to play around their Daze, so they're not playing anything. And let's see if we can draw that land. We did. All right, I'm feeling good. I think we just go ahead and play Tamiyo. This just walks right into Fatal Push. I'm trying to think. What alternatives do we have? I don't think we have a good alternative. I think I'm going to play it out and it'll bait up Fatal Push, and that's fine. I need to stop the Barrowgoyf above all else. I guess if I needed to stop the Barrowgoyf above all else, it would have made sense to have 2 forces up. They could have a second Daze too to get the Barrowgoyf through. All right, and are they not going to use their ability at the end step? I think it does make sense to go ahead and push here. Yep, that's fine. Again, it feeds the Nethergoyf. It's not the worst. It's a 1-for-1. Yeah, 1 mana for 1 mana. Here's what I've been waiting for. Barrowgoyf going on the stack. Yeah, I'm just going to force pitching Daze. I think they know what my last card is. They could have a force to force back by now. They've definitely drawn enough cards. And if they do, we're okay. Well, do you have a second Daze? This is what I was thinking they might have, yeah. And they do have it. Okay, so they got through it. And me fetching differently wouldn't have changed the thing. By the way, sometimes when you're the player putting the spell on the stack, there can be a situation where, yeah, there's no point in playing that mana because it was going to get through anyway. All right. Psychic Frog. I mean, it's something. They've already used their push. They've got 2 cards in hand, but like I'm not feeling favored at all. Like their Barrowgoyf connecting is going to be so much stronger than my Psychic Frog connecting. They've probably got a decent enough density of creatures. If they resolve, yeah, so they're gaining life. They're milling. What do they mill? Okay. They didn't hit anything. That's good. Okay, so they're replaying the land they had. Is this another Barrowgoyf? That's bad. That's really bad for me. I'm going to need to get like runner Fatal Pushes here. And even that wouldn't be that great because I would need to... this puts another artifact in the graveyard. I do think it's worth... Yeah, I'll just do it. I'm not going to overthink this. Because we already have artifact. Do we have artifact in the graveyard? They don't have any artifacts in their graveyard. Okay, I'm just going to exile 3 Well, I can exile this too. Let's see. I can just exile 3 lands. That's not going to do it. I'll exile 2 lands in a... I'll go land, Daze. This is a very expensive because like I want to bring my Nethergoyf back. So I'm just gaining 1 life here, or I'm just doing 1 damage, but it will draw me a card. Okay, Wasteland doesn't do anything. Oh wait, actually it does help me bring back Nethergoyf here. Okay, they've got a dead card on top of their deck. I'm gonna play this out. I'm going to blue, black. Doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna bring him back at whatever the cost. So we'll do. Are there any creatures in their graveyard? There are. We'll take the artifact for sure. The creature doesn't matter. The sorcery, they do have a Thoughtseize in their graveyard. So I'm just going to take cards that are easiest to replace. I'll take Force. I'll take Land. And I will take... I guess I'll take Thoughtseize here. So this is going to be a really baby Nethergoyf, but it is a creature on the table. All right. And we're not dead, but we're like pretty close to dead here. We get a card. All right, Tamiyo, not great, but it is a Force of Will in case we need to interact with something. Okay, so they're going to be able to put an artifact in the yard, and that buffs those to 11 or 10. We can't force anymore. Sadly, I do think we have to let these connect. I don't see a path forward where, well, yeah, maybe we do have to block just to keep force on. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to hope that I can like somehow draw double Fatal Push. If I can draw double Fatal Push, the situation will stabilize a little bit. Surely they flipped a creature though. They flipped another Barrowgoyf and a Murktide. I think we're dead, team. Yeah, this is disappointing. I can't really put my finger on anything I did wrong here. So leave a comment if you see that I did something like obviously wrong during this match, because it feels like taking baiting them into wasting, like obviously you can say, oh, the Wasteland thing, that was wrong. And yeah, I can definitely hear that as an argument. I need to force here, and if they have Daze, it's over. Okay, we stopped that at least. Okay, so what we need to do is draw Fatal Push, and then we need to draw another Fatal Push. That's a good start, but it's not going to matter if, we don't also draw another Fatal Push. Not going to pitch anything. Let's see if we get it. Do we get it? Are we super duper lucky? We are not. We are super duper dead. Yep, good games. I'm not going to show them the Fatal Push. I'll just let them think that they had like an amazing, overwhelming advantage and not realize how close they were to me potentially pushing these. Let's take a look. So yeah, not a strong showing there. We 2-3'd. Again, like I think these last 3 games, like these last three matches were pretty interesting. This one could have gone either way. We did get 2-0s. So I think we played pretty well. But this isn't my style. There was one game that I lost because I fetched an island or swamp instead of the underground sea. I just want to see if it'll let me take a look at what I would have drawn here. No, it just kicked me out of the game as soon as the league ended. That sucks. Because I was going to draw some extra cards. Okay, let's take a look at the deck. So, again, I just want to emphasize this was a situation where we were slightly, I mean, it may seem like you might be like watching all the videos on my channel and like, oh, he always plays Nethergoyf. He always plays, for Tamiyo. Like, how is this any different from the other thing? The very minor differences, but we're playing, double Brazen Borrower, which is a Delver thing. Like Delver basically uses Brazen Borrower. I've heard Max Torsion describe it as flex tape. Basically, it doesn't matter what the situation is. Like this can kind of get you out of it, right? And we saw that there were situations where a Brazen Borrower off the top would have gotten the Murktide out of play and potentially opened up an avenue for us to claw back into it, right? This card is very good, and I think it's one of the most widely played creatures in Legacy, and it has been one of the most widely played creatures since it was printed, and it will probably remain one of the most widely played creatures for at least another year or two till Modern Horizons 4 or whatever. But I don't think that you shouldn't play for Sacred Frog or for Tamiyo or for Nethergoyf if you're trying to play tempo. I don't think that Grixis is as good as this. I don't think that playing DRC and playing Delver, which even a lot of Grixis decks don't play Delver anymore. I don't think that's the way forward for tempo. I think this is the question is just like, do you play the full 4 Wasteland? Do you play the full 4 Daze? And do you not play cards like Baleful Strix? Right. And then some people might say, well, do you play Orcish Bowmasters main deck? And my argument is it's not good enough. It doesn't impact enough decks. Like, this is kind of a laughable card against Eldrazi and against, lands and things like that, right? Well, like, a lot of the well-represented decks in the format do not care that they can't draw cards anymore. They're too busy, exiling 2 of your lands uncounterably and doing stuff like that, right? Or exiling one and wasting the other, right? I think the sideboard seems tight. Like, so just to compare and contrast, this is what I played tonight, and this is what I usually play. So you'll see there are a few extra cards here. We've got just 1 borrower, but we have 3 Strix. Emperor Bone's very good against, and we're not playing the baubles at all. Like, in this build, I'm just playing 3 Nile Spellbomb because Graveyard, like, in matches where Graveyard matters, this card is just insane. Like, you just put it on, you just park it and it warps the entire game. Like, they can't really do anything with their Graveyard, and maybe they can burn a reanimation spell and get it out of the way, but yeah, that's a big commitment. So yeah, I mean, closing thoughts on this, I probably played it wrong. Like, I probably didn't play it as tightly as I could. Let's take a look at some of the lists. I don't think this is too far off from let's see, Harmony Woods. Like, there are a few players that have been playing this type of deck. So MTG top 8, and then so we go to Dimir Tempo. It's one of the more popular decks in the format, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the Reanimator type decks are getting mixed in. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so this is very, very similar to what we're playing. They're playing 19 lands instead of 18, which 1 land difference makes a huge difference. They're playing 1 borrower. They're playing Murktide. I don't think Murktide and Nethergoyf play together very well. It's not like you have DRC that's filling up your graveyard. It's really hard to reliably get this going. Let's take a look at some of the other lists. Actually, we can just compare lists. I frequently do this to understand. And then what I'll do is, if there are like some outliers that are playing like Volcanic Island, I'll just remove that. Like, I'm not interested in looking at lists that have Volcanic Island, because I genuinely believe like 2-color is the way to go about this. Or Delver of Secrets. Like, it's kind of like a rogue build. So I'm eliminating the rogue builds, and I'm just going with like the more normalized. And you can see on average they're playing 19 lands. Right. And I do think 19 is correct. I think 18, I played 18 just to see if like a turbo tempo deck would be better. But this guy, INF, this person plays a ton of this deck, and they're very good at it. And I think they're a frequent trophy leader. And we can see what they're playing. And they are playing the 4 Wastelands instead of 3, which I usually play. Double Brazen Bar. So the main difference here is they're playing only 1 Tamiyo, which, I think you should play 4. I mean, it's an insane card. And people in the comments might be like, why is it an insane card? That league, she didn't like have a strongest showing. I mean, I guess we did see her on the other side of the table, and she won a game against us. But I think she's just ridiculously powerful for a 1 mana card, and she pitches to Force, and she doesn't die to Bowmasters, and like there's so many good things going on. She can potentially block like a lot of goblins all day long. She can just stand there and take the hits from goblins and stuff. Their list is, so they're playing 2 Null Rod, which I haven't been encountering a whole lot of Karnforge. That's the deck that you really want Null Rod for, and maybe Painter, but this is not enough to win Painter. You still need a lot of other stuff going on to win against Painter. Other thoughts, as I said earlier, I don't believe Orcish Bowmaster is. So again, I just want to preface this with, I just got my ass handed to me. I just lost 3 of the 5 matches, and the final one I think was pretty close. It may not have looked close, but it felt close. It's just that like at some point it kind of slipped out of control, and then they started snowballing. But it was close up to that point. And so I think that could have gone either way. I bet you if I played against that player like 10 times with the same decks, and maybe not having knowledge of the other player, like exact list and how those other, like if I just were able to clone myself and play 10 games against them, I think it'd probably be a 50-50 matchup. I don't think we're like super unfavored. I think we're actually slightly favored. But again, I think I made some mistakes. The Wasteland on the land was greedy in that one game, and I didn't get punished Wait, was that the game that I got punished? I'll have to rewatch, but one of the games I did waste into their Edge of Autumn, which was kind of humiliating because they got a free cycle and I lost a card. And the other one, I kind of like hid my Wasteland and didn't play a land for turn, and they were able to surveil and do all this stuff, and I just missed my land drop. Not that it would have mattered. I was scared. I think going on 18 lands, like I felt it the entire league. I could just feel how low land count I was. Just that one land made all the difference. And not having this surveil and having 4 Wastelands, which basically means, so you got 18 lands, you got a swamp. That means you've got 13 initial blue sources in your deck. And I would generally say you need at least 14, preferably 15. Preferably 16 or 20 or whatever, but like realistically, you're not going to be able to have that many lands in your deck. So like, I do think the right mana count for this deck is probably 19 and not 18. And I do believe that, this list would probably fare better against the field. I do think that the list we were just playing was favored against combo decks, but due to my inexperience or due to luck or some other factors, we actually didn't do that well against the one combo deck that we played against. I think we just played against one combo deck. Okay, so other observations. Emperor of Bones, insane card right now. I do think he's worth playing. The 2 Thoughtseizes felt great, and I do think that going forward, I'm going to definitely play 2 Thoughtseizes in my blue-black tempo decks. Let's take a look real quick again. I know this is a really like long, kind of wordy post-deck tech. If you want to piece out, it's totally chill. You don't have to watch to the very end, but I do appreciate you. Okay, so they are 2 Thoughtseizes. In fact, if we take a look here, let's take a look the average number of Thoughtseizes, and I think it's crept up. It used to not be. Yeah. Oh, okay. So everybody's playing 2 Thoughtseizes. It's not like some rogue opinion. Stifle, not as popular because you have to pay mana for it, right? And Thoughtseize is so powerful that it's okay to like play it as your turn 1 play. Stifle, you don't want to just hold up mana for it generally. It's good in Stifle not, but that's about it. Okay, and then we can go into, like Nile Spellbomb is usually a 1 of or a 2 of. I think it's a slam dunk 2 of. I mean, I'm playing 3 in my control deck, but that's an extreme build. I think you're totally fine but playing 2, and then 2 baubles usually. And then 1 other removal spell in addition to the 4 Fatal Push. Go for the Throat is not the best. I can see why people are playing it, but it does suck when there's like a construct on the table and you can't get rid of it because of the artifact thing. There's Shoot the Sheriff, but that doesn't hit rogues, which means it doesn't hit Dauthi Voidwalker. I don't know. I would probably play like, I don't think you can play Murderous Cut because again, your graveyard is so precious. And again, that's why I don't play Murktide. Average number of Murktides people are playing 2. People are playing the Murktide even though there's not really a good way to fill your graveyard. Any other observations? Bloodchief's Thirst. I did order this. This came in the mail today. Cool card. You can play it as a sorcery, but I think with the 2 Thoughtseize, you don't need an additional sorcery. I think 6 artifacts and 6 sorceries is fine. A lot of people are just playing 4 artifacts, but I like to play 6, which is why I'm playing the Strixes, in addition to them just being a good meta call right now. And we can say some people are playing Barragoyf in the sideboard. I'm not a huge fan of Barragoyf. I do have them in paper. I haven't got them on MTGO yet, just because they're like really overpriced, in my opinion. I think 3 is the right number of consigned memory. That seems to be what people are converging on. Let's see how many people. Okay, 2 Harbinger of the Seas, which is what we've been playing. 1 Hydroblast. Long Goodbye. I think it is a 1 of. It really was strong there. There was that situation where we were able to kill that Nethergoyf, and I don't think it won us the game, but it did it was a powerful play. This person's playing 4 nice Nile Spellballs on the sideboard. Get some of those in your main deck, buddy. Okay, and then that's it. Unlicensed Hearst, I don't really like it. Threads of Disloyalty. I haven't seen this card in years, but this is a really cool card. So, colorless, blue. You control enchanted creatures, so you can just take somebody's Psychic Frog. Now, this is going to get dazed. If you want to take people's permanents, kill them and reanimate them, I guess. I don't know. This is not the most mana efficient, and it's also, vulnerable to Brazen Borrower and all that other stuff at inopportune times because it's a permanent. This is on the battlefield instead of a sorcery that just has its effect and then goes away. Same thing with Leyland Binding and like all those other cards. Like the argument against them is when they go away. They can be going away at very inopportune times. I'm surprised more people aren't playing Bowmasters in the sideboard. I still think it's really good against blue-white, but maybe not very many people are playing blue-white X decks right now because freaking Eldrazi is just clobbering everybody. I watched Bosch and Roll just get completely destroyed by an Eldrazi deck, and I got destroyed by an Eldrazi deck. If you want to watch the one where I tried to play the Bant Beans a few days ago, yeah. Eldrazi is just like, it's a menace. Like, okay, let's take a look at like the most recent Legacy Challenge. So I know I've been rambling and I'm going to ramble some more. Where's the Legacy Challenge? Here. Is it this one? It's a different one. Okay, Eldrazi Aggro. There was one where like the top 3 decks were all the same deck that were playing the One Ring. Yeah, I think it's this. But like the top 4 were 3 of the decks that all had like identical lists basically. And they were playing One Ring, playing Chalice, and then they're playing, Sowing Mycospawn, Thought on Seer, Glaring Fleshraker, like the 3 really good creatures, and then some number of the okay ones, It That Heralds the End and Devourer of Destiny. But like Sowing Mycospawn and Glaring Fleshraker, either of these could get banned. I think one of them will likely get banned, probably Glaring Fleshraker, but I would actually prefer to see Sowing Mycospawn banned because it just violates the rule of like if you put a basic land into play, there shouldn't be an easy way for your opponent to get rid of that basic. It just makes playing basics not rewarded anymore. And I think in Legacy, you do want to reward people for playing basics and being responsible with their basics. Anyway, I will get off my soapbox. I'll stop going on the rant. But my point in showing you this Eldrazi list is it is extremely difficult to stop as a blue-white deck. Everything has a cast trigger, and they're blowing up your lands, and they're getting card advantage late game with Eye of Ugin. They're just like going and demonic tutoring every turn. It gets really nasty really fast. So I strongly recommend, like, if you're going to play blue-white, power to you, but it's rough out there right now. Okay, the other observation I have, so it is possible that maybe we're dedicating too many slots to Orcish Bowmasters, and that is definitely something I'll think about in the coming days, because I've been dedicating 4 full slots to it. I think it's such a good card, but it could be, results oriented thinking. Maybe I was going to win those games anyway, so it was like more of a win more card. I can definitely, like we saw in the Doomsday match, I didn't want to bring all 4 in, but like frankly, this is a card that should be really good against Doomsday. So maybe the fact that like I didn't want to bring 4 in, like maybe these could be better served as being like Hydroblast for the Painter matchup, or I don't know, another Long Goodbye for the Tempo matchup or something like that. But anyway, I've talked plenty. I really appreciate you tuning in. I'm just going to, for those of you who've stayed with me this entire video and like watched me struggle through some of these matchups, I hope you found it interesting. I hope you're learning from my insights. I hope you're also learning from lots of other people. Please don't like look to me as your sole, source for Legacy games. Watch Max Dorson, watch Pokemoki, watch PVDH when he posts. Watch, of course, like the big 3, the ones that run the Eternal Glory podcast, Ryan Cook, Bosch and Roll, Thraben U. Just check out all those videos. Like you're going to get a great kind of smorgasbord of insights, and they all play, like a lot of those people play silly decks that I like. I only play decks that have Force of Will and Brainstorm in them, but you're going to get a variety of insights. But I do want to just shout out you for tuning in, and I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.